We're going to start with stuck in a meeting.
It is the best.
Okay, good morning, everyone. We're about to go on the record. If we can mute our cell phones. Okay. Today is Wednesday, April 20th in the year 2022. This is a regular meeting of the Employees Retirement System of the City of Jersey City. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided by the Secretary of the Employees Retirement System of Jersey City by written notice to the City Clerk and editors of the Jersey Journal on March 7th, 2022. Copies of the agenda were distributed to all commissioners, council, and the pension office. Additional copies were given to the City Clerk and will distribute upon request. Okay, roll call. Mayor is absent. John Skura is here.
Yep.
Commissioner Gallagher is here. Commissioner Metro will be joining us shortly. I'll mark him absent for now. Commissioner Greco is here. Vincent Signorelli is here. And in lieu of Peter Baker, we have Elizabeth Barner is here. Sorry about that, just writing her name down. And Christine Kakaleski is here. Lori Disbrow is here, and Veronica Marino is here. Okay. I'm going to make a motion to defer. Oh, okay. I didn't even do that, did I? Sorry, Ben. All right, I'm going to make a motion to defer to, was it under old business? The old business regarding Judge Rodriguez.
Motion?
I have a second on that motion.
Second.
All in favor to defer? I made the motion, Raj, sorry.
Okay.
The motion to defer to Judge Rodriguez. Gallagher. And seconded by Skura. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All righty. Let me just get to...
Okay, the commissioners will recall that back in May of last year, we had notified Judge Rodriguez that emphasizing that under the statute 43-6A-14, that if she collected a judicial pension, that the employee's retirement system pension would be terminated. Since that time, her attorney, Mr. Russell, has contacted me and sent some correspondence that the board has received and which I provided to the board to review again today. At our last meeting, we indicated, or the meeting before that, we had indicated that we would invite Mr. Russell here to make a presentation on behalf of Judge Rodriguez as to his position regarding the collection of the pension from the judicial system and also from the ERS system. So, Mr. Chairperson, if you could ask Mr. Russell, please, to come up and address the commission regarding his position. Now, the commissioners have all received copies of the correspondence, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Russell?
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Russell, and I'm representing the interest of Judge Rodriguez here, who's probably one of the most difficult clients I've ever had in 32 years of practicing law because I've been married to her since 1995. Judge Rodriguez, as we look at these issues, there are a couple of things that are critical. The facts matter, the law matters, good faith matters, and the word of the Jersey City Pension Board matters. Judge Rodriguez was a lifelong Hudson County resident, has been a resident of Jersey City since 1995. She's a dedicated public service, has raised her family in Jersey City, has educated her children in the Jersey City public school system. Judge Rodriguez began her legal career as a clerk in the Superior Court on Newark Avenue, where she's now sitting as a judge. After that, she went into private practice in Jersey City, and in 2003, she became a municipal prosecutor. She served in that capacity as a municipal prosecutor in Jersey City until December of 2005. In December of 2005, Judge Rodriguez was nominated by then Mayor Healy and confirmed by the Municipal Council to be a judge of the Jersey City Superior Court. Judge Rodriguez served with distinction as a judge of the Jersey City Municipal Court. In 2008, which was a very trying year for the Jersey City Municipal Court, I trust many of you remember there was a, quote, ticket-fixing scandal when the Attorney General's office came in, arrested a number of judges, and demanded a number of other judges retire. In the face of that public scrutiny and public outcry, Judge Rodriguez was asked to take over that court. That was incredibly challenging. Every litigant that came into that court concluded one thing: every judge in this courthouse is corrupt. Why am I being treated this way? This is a corrupt courthouse. Judge Rodriguez successfully navigated the court through that crisis, restored the faith of the public in the courthouse. Also, 2008, many of you remember, was the financial crisis. That had a devastating impact on the city, and it required the court, citywide employees, to be furloughed 1 day a month. Judge Rodriguez had to manage the courthouse through that furlough. In addition, after the courthouse, after that, managing that crisis, we then came Hurricane Sandy, which had a devastating impact on this city. Judge Rodriguez had to manage the court to ensure that criminal cases were timely handled, to ensure people's cases were handled. That was critical. During her tenure on the municipal court, the courthouse had a budget of approximately $5 million. She was able to reduce the budget by approximately 1/3, and while doing that, increase the revenue to the city over that period of time. Now, Judge Rodriguez was never political. She's never been never actively involved in politics. She was then nominated by Governor Christie with the support of the local senators, Senator Sacco, and her home senator, Senator Cunningham, to become the judge of the Superior Court. That nomination was based on her conduct, actions, and competency as a judge. That happened in February of 2013. On February 7, 2013, Judge Rodriguez resigned from the city of Jersey City and then became a state Superior Court judge. She served in Jersey City from February 3, 2003 to February 7th of 2013, thereby vesting a 10-year pension. When she retired, she inquired of the city and the pension board, would her appointment to the state Superior Court impact her pension? She was told no. Judge Rodriguez called down to the state pension board and asked if her time here could be rolled into her judicial service and count towards that. She was told no. They are separate pensions. They are treated separately under the law. They do not cross over in any way. When she went on the Superior Court, she relied on what she was told by the city of Jersey City. She elected to defer her pension instead of taking her contributions. Okay, that reliance has a real financial impact. At the time of her retirement in February of 2013, Judge Rodriguez had contributed, her contributions were $71,614.38. If she knew this board at that time was looking to revoke her pension, she would have been confronted with an option of taking her money out at that point. If she simply invested that in a conservative 60-40 stock bond fund, she would have had over $100,000 of increase in value. As a result of the board's delay, 8-year delay, in seeking to revoke her pension, she's lost that money. She relied on what the city told her, that your pension's not impacted. That reliance has cost her over $100,000 with the 8-year delay that this board has not made a decision. It wasn't until June 4th of 2001 that Judge Rodriguez receives a letter saying her pension will terminate, citing the State Judicial Pension Act. One of the questions Judge Rodriguez has is, when did light come from darkness? When is it that the board learned that the law of the state of New Jersey required her to forfeit her pension? It wasn't in 2013. It wasn't in 2014. It wasn't in 2015. It wasn't in 2016. It wasn't in 2017, 18, 19, 20, not until 2021. Okay, the Jersey City Pension Board has to deal in good faith, and an 8-year delay that has a financial impact that Judge Rodriguez relied on the word she was given by that board is a serious factor here. After receiving the letter from the board, I had spoken with counsel a number of times about this issue, and I trust you've all received my October 8th, 2021 letter. And I think it's, when you look at the legal issues here, I received yesterday a copy of a letter from the law department dated April 19th, again citing NJSA 43-6A 14A as grounds to terminate Judge Rodriguez's municipal pension. We would submit that reading is not correct, and in fact, the New Jersey State Pension Act, upon which this board is relying, does not apply to the municipal pension, and in fact, this board doesn't have any vested authority under the New Jersey Judicial Pension Act to enforce any rights in connection with Judge Rodriguez's municipal pension. The stated purpose of the act is, this is subsection 4, it's the purpose to provide pensions and other benefits for its members, their beneficiaries, in accordance with the provisions of the act. The New Jersey State Judicial Pension Act, NJSA 43:6A-1 et sec, applies only to state judicial pensions. The only entity that has any authority under that act is the State Judicial Pension Board. This act does not vest Jersey City with any authority to do anything under that statute. This statute does not apply in any way to the pensions formulated, organized, administered under the city of Jersey City. And if you look at, to understand the act, you have to look at 14.6, 14.6A, 14.1. The way the State Pension Act is set up, it prohibits judges from having two state-funded pensions. Okay, this conclusion is based on the plain language of the statute. If you look at 14.1, it says in part, who's receiving a retirement allowance or pension by a retirement established to a law of the state. Then if you look at the definition section, which is 43.6A-3, subsection L, pension means a payment for life derived from contributions by the state. What this means is the State Judicial Pension Act, 43.6A-1 et sec, including 14A, confirms the fact that a retired state superior court judge cannot collect another state-funded pension. The definition is very clear. A pension means, quote, payments for life from contributions by the state. The Jersey City municipal pension is not in any way funded by contributions from the state. These are two entirely distinct pension systems. They are under two different statutory acts. Now, when this happened, if you look at the State Department of Pension Benefits, if you go on their website, there's lots of questions and answers about retired employees going on for another public job. How does that impact their pension? And they have a number of publications. And the fact sheet number 86, dated February 22, talks about an employee who's retired, going to work for another public entity, and it talks about the impact of pensions and how that is affected by your employment. And what it in part says, However, if there's any doubt, you should have the prospective employer contact the New Jersey Department of Benefits prior to accepting your public employment after retirement. Okay, what the state is saying is if you have a question about your benefits, why don't you call the State Department of Benefits and ask? Well, that's what Judge Rodriguez did here. Okay, if you have my October 8th letter, if you move into, there's an exhibit there, which is an email exchange that Judge Rodriguez sent to the state pension, the judicial retirement benefits section in the state of New Jersey. She laid out in her email the facts regarding her case, and the state responded. The treasurer from the state of New Jersey, Brittany Zula, pension benefit specialist for the judicial retirement system, in a September 15, 2021 letter, responded. It's in your attachment, but I will read it briefly into the record. Dear Judge Rodriguez, this letter is in reference to your email, July 27, 2021. That email is included in the packet we submitted to you. Under the provisions of the Judicial Retirement System, JRS Statute NJSA 43:6A-14, membership in the JRS requires that you cannot elect to receive retirement benefits from another state-administered retirement system, and you must cease membership in any New Jersey state-administered retirement system upon your enrollment into JRS. Here's the last line. Since the employer retirement system of Jersey City is not part of our New Jersey state administered retirement, you are entitled to collect a pension from us. What this means is if you look at section 14 and 14.1, okay, that's the statutory provision in the Judicial Retirement System Act that prohibits a judge from collecting two state administered pensions. The state is recognizing here that Judge Rodriguez's municipal pension doesn't require her to make an election between the city pension and the state judicial pension. The only requirement that bans two pensions is if they're state administered. The Jersey City Municipal Retirement Pension, which Judge Rodriguez was enrolled because when she started working for Jersey City, she was not 40 years old. She is in the Jersey City pension, not PERS. Those pensions are treated differently. The judicial retirement system recognizes that this pension does not impact her state judicial pension. She's not required to make a choice. And if you look through the State Judicial Pension Act, there is nothing in there that vests the city of Jersey City any legal authority to enforce any rights, any claims that apply to the Jersey City pension. Okay, I just received a letter from Mr. Baker yesterday, and if there are questions on how this is enforced, we'd ask that, let's take the New Jersey State Department of Pension at its word. If we have a question about how this is supposed to work, we can send them a letter and ask them. If there's a concern that this statute somehow vests the city of Jersey City with authority to revoke a vested pension from a 10-year public servant, we can ask the state of New Jersey if that's the case. Because Judge Rodriguez, when she retired from 10 years of service with this city, she relied on what she was told by representative of the pension board that this would not impact her pension. She contacted the state judiciary prior to becoming a state Superior Court judge, was told it would not impact her pension. It was not until 8.5 years later, in June of 2021, that light came to darkness, and all of a sudden the Jersey City Pension Board decided it was going to try and revoke her pension. If that's a question, Judge Rodriguez has asked this to the State Pension Board. If there are additional questions that this board has, take the state up on its offer. We can ask them a question. We can seek their guidance.
Thank you, Mr. Russell.
Does anybody have any questions?
Any board members have any questions? No. We don't have any questions for you, Mr. Russell.
Thank you.
Thank you. Liz Barner, who's representing Peter Baker Corporation Counsel, would like to make a statement for the record.
Okay. Am I good? Can we hear me? Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Russell. I'm here on behalf of Peter Baker, part of the law department. I'm just going to simply reiterate what is actually stated in our letter with just a few caveats. It's our opinion, just looking at the plain text of NJSA 436A-14A, that the plain text reading of this says that Judge Rodriguez is not entitled to collect both the City Employee Retirement System, ERS, and the Judicial Retirement System, as the city ERS system is not administered by the state, but it is established by state law. And that is specifically what NJSA 436A-14A states. Any judge who is required to be a member of the retirement system established by this act and who holds membership in a retirement system established pursuant to any other law of the state shall cease other membership. While I appreciate Mr. Russell's arguments on behalf of Judge Rodriguez, the law department is simply looking at the plain text of that section, and the city ERS system is established by state law in NJSA 4313-1.1, and that specifically applies to pensions for first-class cities, and Jersey City is the first-class city in this case. And that's the law department's position. It's also the law department's position that if the board would be willing to talk to the state, as Mr. Russell was saying, that we wouldn't have an issue with that either, regarding the authority to terminate the pension. Thank you.
We've heard from the city's attorney, law department's position on this, and we've heard from Judge Rodriguez's counsel on this. Mr. Russell presented his arguments, presented his legal documents and papers, and made a good suggestion, I think. Perhaps I see no reason why this board shouldn't ask for the advice of the state pension board, although we can send them a letter, and then at that point, we'll have some additional information to consider before the board reconsiders their decision. So it's up to the board to make a determination. So the issue is is whether Judge Rodriguez can collect both the city pension and the judicial pension. So the state has indicated in an email to her that she can collect the state pension. They don't administer the city pension, so I think we should ask and see what they come back with, and then at that point, then consider that as additional information for the board to have a full picture of what should be decided here.
Yeah, I think the fairest way to deal with this is to definitely send a letter to the state so we can get it in writing as well. It's not that we don't believe Judge Rodriguez or Judge Rodriguez's attorney. I just think that we should have clarification from the state just to make sure we're making the right decision on our behalf. So, Raj, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I'd like to.
Just put it closer to
I'm
you.
sorry.
There you go.
I find it disturbing that it was 8.5 years.
Can't hear it.
It's got to lean a little more into the mic, Raj.
So yeah, I think we need to come to grips with this. Morally, it sure sounds like she might be entitled. I'll leave it at that for now. Legally, that's what we'll abide by at the end of the day.
Thank you. And Jack?
Yeah, I would like to take that extra step and get the state guidance so that we're, have that extra layer of surety that we're making the right decision one way or the other. So I would like to do that.
So with that being said, the commissioners are in favor of holding this off until we hear back from the state. So we will send a letter to the state, and once we receive the response from the state, we'll ask you guys to come back, and then we'll make a final decision.
Thank you, Chairman. I would ask that when the pension board submits the letter to the state, to please copy me on it,
Sure.
because I think our goal is to get clarification, the guidance on the pension.
Absolutely.
And I think that's in both of our interests. Thank
Absolutely.
you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Judge Abad, if you want to speak.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to, first of all, good morning. Legally speaking, I am actually in the same position as Judge Rodriguez. I'm sure many of you know. I was also given the same notice as to my status of the Jersey City pension. As you may know, I was also vested in the Jersey City pension. I received the same notice, so I am not exactly the same position as Judge Rodriguez in that I only learned of this last year, but fundamentally, legally, from a legal perspective, we're in the same boat. So I would also join in Mr. Russell's application for you to seek guidance from the state. I appreciate that. I think that's the least that we can do because obviously there's a lot at stake. And I would ask if you can do it as soon as possible, only because, as the time ticks, interest is growing, and so it's at a loss for both of us, and so we would have to make decisions as to what we were to do if we were not to prevail here. I'm hoping, obviously, that we do, but I would like to hopefully get some guidance on this as soon as possible. So I'd also ask, and any notices on this particular issue, if I can be told as well, or I'm going to presume, do you think you would have a decision by the next meeting? Well, I know it's monthly. Do you think you'd be in a position to make a decision on this by the next meeting, or just trying to get a ballpark feel?
It's really going to depend on how quickly the state gets back to us. So as soon as they get back to us, we will put it on the agenda of whatever meeting is closest to the response date.
Okay, I appreciate that. What I would just say is there any relief that you think that we would be in? Well, since Judge Rodriguez, through her counsel, made the formal application, I would ask if I would join in on that. And obviously, any notices, if you can include me as well, I would appreciate that. Okay. I don't know if you want me to send you something officially to either Mr. Signorelli or to, no?
It's not necessary.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you again. Okay, so let's go back to our regularly scheduling programming. What I did fail to do is make a motion to open. Vin was trying to get my attention to read in the Sunshine Law, and I actually did that, but I failed to make a motion to open the meeting. So I believe we opened at 11:15. I'll make the motion. May I have a second?
Second.
It's a legal term called nunc pro tunc.
There you
So
go.
that 3 years of law school, not a fancy word.
It pays
means doing something now as if we had done it before. So that motion will be nunc pro tunc.
Okay. And the motion was, the second, it was made by Commissioner Greco.
Yes.
All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I apologize about that, guys. All right. On to our regular order of business.
Could I just say one thing about what Judge Abad just said?
So you want to just put the mic up and, yep.
I just want, I think what they're worried about too is, right, they had contributions, and if our decision stands, they will have to now, invest that money. I don't know, the light's on.
Yep, it's on.
just for the record, because you already know Judge Rodriguez's contributions life to date, Judge Abad's life to date contribution amount is $119,000. So that's what he's probably worried about, like trying to then go and reinvest that. I mean, one of the
Right.
issues, right?
Well, it makes sense. They're kind of in the same position, but he's in a little bit of a
Yeah,
different,
yeah, definitely a little different.
the
but
same principle.
Yes,
Okay, and there may be others too. There,
right, what were you gonna have, I think,
employees
Judge Chambers?
down the road, and I believe there's one that may be pending soon, that may be in the same position.
Yeah.
So,
That's why I think
so it's
it's-
not just one.
Right, we need to have.
Although
you know,
Judge Rodriguez's matter is a little different
Yes.
because of the timing of it, but the same issue as to whether the interpretation of the statute precludes collection of both pensions. So it's an important thing. We'll work on a letter, and we'll send something out next week, and we'll wait for a response.
Actually, I will, if you need help with that and we can coordinate, I think there's a couple of different questions that the law department went back and forth about as to why the state is using incorrect language that's not in their statute. So I think it'd be best to get the overarching question that Mr. Russell said, does the city have authority to terminate this? First. Secondly, why did they say that, based on the language of the statute, administered versus established, why did the state say that she could collect both pensions when the plain text reading of the statute says differently? So I think we could get a little extra guidance in that regard on what exactly NJSA 43-6A-14A actually means, and in accordance with the definitions that Mr. Russell went through. So I think we can kind of kill a couple birds with one stone with this letter, and that way it would probably help us get direction for other judges or other civil servants coming and having this issue with the pension.
Thank you. All righty. So the next order of business is the approval of the March 16th, 2022 minutes. I'll make a motion to accept. May I have a second? Second by Commissioner Greco. All in favor of the motion in the minutes, please say aye. Aye. Okay, next is our pension portfolio. Lori?
Okay, I'm good, right? For the month ended March 31st, 2022, the portfolio is at $154,882,076. We were actually up $1.4 million from the previous month, from February's month end. For a 12-month look back for last March of '21, we were actually at $148 million, so we were up $6.7 million from last March. And we do see the market obviously is fluctuating day by day, a little bit of big swings, so we had a couple of down days in a row. So our portfolio amount as of yesterday is at 151, we'll call it 152 million, we're slightly under. I did want to point out that we, on March 30th, 2022, we added $150,000 to our iCapital Vintage 4 AI position. And we have continued to take blood from a stone, and yes, we got another Lehman payment. $351.81 on April 6th. We brought our total outstanding settlement up to $305,000 versus a cost basis of about $186,000, and still not done when started in 2012. So obviously you see our payments getting smaller and smaller, but it's still not done. So we may get another couple, maybe get another payment in October of this year. It's possible.
It seems like the payments fluctuate anyway, because
Yeah, they're typically October, April, but sometimes they throw one in.
Right.
Like we see a July one, we see a December. So sometimes they throw them in, but the typical payments are October and April.
right,
But if you see the pattern,
yeah.
they get just going down, 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 and then So in October of '21, which was our last payment, we received $582, and this payment was $351.
Right.
Now, that doesn't even come in one payment, so you know. It comes into our account in 3 or 4 little payments.
Every dollar helps, though.
Yeah, well, you know what? We didn't make the decision to sell at the time, and we definitely came out ahead of the game by not making that decision.
Again, I'll give kudos to the members of the board at that time for
Where were
making
we
the
going?
right
We're a
decision.
long-term fund, like, why would we even take that chance? You okay, Roger?
Yes.
You need water?
Yes.
Do we have water anywhere? Sean?
Fetch some soon.
In the council's office. Raj, if you go to the council's office, there's water there.
Well, it looks like the alternative investment decision there is paying dividends.
Yes, and also, I was gonna bring up, the rebalance we did in December has specifically helped us, right? We shaved 3% off our equities and redeployed that to alternative investments, a little cash, and fixed income. That has definitely helped us. And I did speak to Chris, and obviously they'll be at the May meeting, but they don't see a rebalance at this time. The only thing they may suggest is, you know how we did the upper constraint for alternative investments to 22%?
Right.
They may ask us to raise our strategic allocation to 18%. Our strategic allocation, we're currently at 50%.
What is the difference between that? Like, what is that, the strategic as opposed to?
Right, so strategic is what we want the portfolio to be.
Right.
Right, as opposed to where we can go, right?
Within that range.
Which in that range, right? So, for instance, for large cap equities, our range is 10 to 40, which means we wouldn't bring our equities under 10 at any given time according to these parameters that are in our investment policy statement at this moment. And we don't go above 40. When we get close to 40, then we will do something else, either,
So,
reallocate or change, discuss changing the range. Right now, our strategic allocation for large cap equities, not total equities, large cap equities is 25, and we're slightly overweight at 26.16%. That's tactical at the moment. We could change, that, but we did bring it down. We were closer to 28.
so one other thing, if you, talk to Chris or whatever, just to, maybe get his opinion on it when he comes back, we can talk to him, when he comes before the board again, we can talk to him, but I'm just trying to share my knowledge of the markets and the economy, and so it's pretty much interest rates are, obviously, they're being targeted to go up significantly, and so usually what that does is that hurts the growth side of the economy, and in those circumstances, the value side of the economy does better. I'm not suggesting anything. I just wanted to, raise the question that we're raising it and let them see.
Well, that's why we switched the growth and the value, right? We have a higher percentage in value than growth in the large cap.
Yeah. No, I mean, okay. So, but
That's why that was done.
yeah. But I just wanted to see does more need to be done? I mean, like, do they think more?
Oh, yeah,
needs to be
yeah.
done,
They'll be at the May meeting.
Because the rates are really climbing like could be climbing exponentially. So it's
They'll speak to that at the
yeah,
May.
yeah.
They'll be at the May meeting with the quarterly, so the quarterly will be the first through March 31st.
Sure.
So they'll have that quarterly report done,
Right.
and then we'll discuss what's happened since March 31st, right? So all of April, and then probably May, right? Because our meeting is on the 18th.
That's correct.
Yep.
But they will definitely address that, and also raising the strategic allocation, right, for our AI, because we're up against it already, and we owe more, we have a couple more buckets to fill in the iCapital. So we're going to come up against it. So I guess their position is they're using our alternative investments as a hedge against, right, the effect of the market on equities.
Right.
And don't forget, we're still trying to make 7.25 at this moment. Our expected rate of return is still 7.25, which is still a little slightly high for some pension funds, but we all know what that means when we lower that number. Our contribution rate goes up. And we are due a valuation report. We're just in the middle of getting it done. I'm try and, to get the information together for the actuary. And they're going to turn it around as quickly as they can.
And I'd also like to see their, opinion on like the inflation-protected bonds as well. That would be, again, I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just thinking about myself as an individual investor, or, with a 401k. And I just feel, I know you're all over this, but, as a board member, we should be, showing that we're, we're doing our diligence. But thank you. That was a great readout.
I don't have anything else specifically unless someone besides Jack has any other specific questions about the portfolio.
No, I don't have any questions. Raj, do you have any questions?
No.
Feeling up better? You better with the water, Raj?
I'm good.
Okay, good. Concerned. All righty. With no other further questions, may I have a motion to accept the pension portfolio summary?
Motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Greco. May I have a second?
Second?
Second by Commissioner Skura. All in favor of the motion and the pension portfolio, please say aye. Aye. Okay, on to our next item, which is the pension payroll report.
Motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Greco to accept the pension payroll report. May I have a second?
Second?
Second by Commissioner Skura. All in favor of the pension payroll report and the motion, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Very good. All right, next is a resolution approving refunds, contributions, rollovers to the following members of the Employees Retirement System of Jersey City. And I apologize in advance for butchering any names. Kevin Duran, Demetria Huggins, Dina Laguda, Edward O'Malley, and Manishka. I'm not even going to attempt that last name. There you go. I'll accept it. I'll make a motion to accept. May I have a second? Second by Commissioner Greco. All in favor of the motion and the resolution, please say aye. Aye. All right, next we have a resolution authorizing early service retirement to Christopher J. Purser, a contributing member of the Employees Retirement System of Jersey City. I did not know he worked for 34 years with us. Phew. He was definitely under the radar.
That way.
Yeah, he did well.
Yes. Motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Greco. May I have a second?
Second?
Second by Commissioner Skura. All in favor of the resolution and the motion, please say aye.
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 Next is a resolution canceling pension payments to Mafalda Vaughn, a deceased member of the Employees Retirement System of Jersey City who has no surviving beneficiary. I'll make a motion to accept. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Greco. All in favor of the motion and resolution, please say aye.
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 Aye. Next is a resolution authorizing dependency pension to Katina Sanfilippo, a widower of Angelo Sanfilippo, a deceased member of the Employees Retirement System of Jersey City. I'll make a motion to accept. May I have a second? Second by Commissioner Greco. All in favor of the motion and resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next is a resolution canceling widower Benefits to Jeffrey O'Neill, widower of Pamela O'Neill, a deceased member of the Employees Retirement System of Jersey City. I'll make a motion to accept.
This isn't,
What's the matter?
Just on this one, either
not
we
because-
vote on it, or I'd like to go into closed session on this, discuss this a little. Maybe we should defer this to the end of the agenda, and we'll go into closed
Yeah.
session. Because I think it's something that comes within the attorney-client
I'm sorry, I thought it was the next,
to discuss.
sorry, Ben, I thought it was the next one that we were going into closed session for. Okay, can I make a motion to defer this to the end of the meeting? I'll make the motion to defer. May I have a second? Second by Commissioner Greco. All in favor of the motion to defer this resolution to the end of the meeting, please say aye. Aye. Okay. So next is Angela Rivera. Do we need to go into closed session with this one?
I don't really see a need to
Okay.
go into closed session. This is all public information.
You want me to read it into the record first?
Yeah, just read the resolution. into
Sure.
it. Okay.
So it's a resolution authorizing Angela Rivera's reduction and forfeiture of pension contributions and repayment of balance of pension loan.
Okay. You'll recall at our last meeting, we had discussed this briefly, and we prepared it for this meeting. There's documents that have been supplied to the pension commissioners. This former employee of the city had been convicted of a crime touching upon her office. And under the statute and under our ERS rules, the contributions can be forfeited. And in this case, it's almost from the day that this employee began working that she began a criminal scheme to defraud the city of Jersey City. So the resolution asks for forfeiture of the full contributions. But in this case, she had, in fact, taken a loan out. So in reality, after paying the taxes and the loan, it's only like $7,000 and some change, and that's actually being forfeited because the loan has to be repaid, and which will result in what's known as a deemed distribution, meaning that she had received an early distribution. Right, we'll notify her, and we notified her or to send any representative or send any documentation she wished to the board. At this time, she has been convicted of the offense of the crime, and she's serving a jail sentence as set forth in the documentation.
She was advised by letter dated March 29th, correct?
We sent it to her last known address. Yeah.
Right. I see the copies of the certified mail receipts and a copy of the signature.
So in this case, the actual forfeiture is $7,932.64 due to the fact that she had taken out a pension loan of $11,201.22 and the resulting tax that has to be paid on that.
Make sure your mic is on, Lori.
That's what the pension loan plus interest.
so the $11,201.22 represents her principal plus interest due that was calculated up to this meeting date, right, Ben?
It says as of April of 20, April 20th, 2022.
Use this meeting date.
Yep.
And there would be federal taxes due of $4,783.46.
And just so if anybody needed, it was page 35 is what we're looking at.
So if you could see from the documents, we said that the misconduct here was directly involved with her public duties. She was in charge of the payroll and senior program analyst for the Jersey City Department of Recreation and Youth, pleaded guilty on January 27, 2021 to a charge of theft by unlawful taking, a crime of the second degree. On or about December 31st of 2016 and continuing, she unlawfully took the property of the City of Jersey City in amounts over $80,000 by altering time records for employees, causing paychecks to be issued that reflected additional hours the employees did not work, and deposited some of those checks into her personal account after she forged the workers' signatures.
And this also bars her from public employment, right?
And she's forfeited she forfeited her public employment and forfeited any ability to obtain a public job. And that's exactly what the statute says. The statute says that there's no obligation on this board to return contributions to an employee who has been removed from office and cannot obtain office under civil service regulations. Under civil service regulations, she cannot obtain another position based on the forfeiture order. The statute NJSA 43:13-22.58 provides that the obligation to refund payments made to the fund shall not apply to an employee suspended or discharged for causes which bar him or her from eligibility to reappointment under civil service rules. So she is barred under civil service rules by the order of the court from obtaining any public employment.
Okay, anybody have any questions? Just make sure the mic is on, Raj. Sorry.
Is it?
Yep, there you go.
Okay. So I just want to be clarified here on the financial impact of this resolution. She made pension payments of almost $24,000, right? We're going to, when we pass this resolution, I assume, so she's going to forfeit those contributions. The pension will then pay the federal tax on that,
Well,
out of that?
out of her money,
Okay.
tax will be paid.
The loan she took out for $11,000?
We're out 11,
Okay.
well, actually 15, because we have to pay the federal tax on it, but we would,
Okay,
so
I'm good.
approximately 15,000. So she would only be entitled to, after payment of the loan and payment of the tax for the deemed distribution, she would only be entitled to the $7,800.
7,932.
yeah.
64.
That's what's being forfeited here.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And that, again, that's after the federal and the loan is paid. May I have a motion to accept?
Motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Greco. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Skira. All in favor of the motion and resolution, please say aye.
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 Okay. All righty. So what's left is go into closed session, Vin?
Yes, I'd ask that you pass the resolution.
I just have a quick question before we do that, Vin. So, because we are recording the meeting.
Yeah. We will, I would ask that the secretary take notes at that point and not record this portion of the meeting.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Okay. Can we do that first?
Yeah, okay.
So before we go into closed session, the next thing is the resolution canceling pension payments to Angelo San Filippo, a deceased member of the Employees Retirement System of Jersey City who has a surviving beneficiary. And just as Veronica stated, they found out that he does have a surviving beneficiary. Katina San Filippo. We did?
Right, so, yeah,
Actually,
so we approved the widow part of this. I guess technically we should have done this prior to that.
Yeah.
Right?
I think we were just confirming it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
This one's just confirmed. So may I have a motion to accept? Motion made by Commissioner Skira. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Greco. All in favor of the motion, the resolution, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
So at this time, do you want me to stop the recording?
Yeah, unless, do we have the capability of recording both? That would have to be held confidential, though, Veronica, this portion of the meeting. Are you able to do that? If we go into closed session, can you record that, but that portion of the meeting has to remain confidential? If we don't have the capability of doing that, we can just take hand notes.
So,
Right. Okay, but then we have to go back into open session again and end this meeting.
and that's the tricky thing on the computer, too.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be verbatim notes. It just has to be a note of what occurred, and that remains confidential. Okay, so why don't we just at this point then go into closed session, and we'll come back into open session and finish the meeting after.
So the only question I have, again, I'm sorry if I'm not, is to stop the recording at this point.
Right, because we don't have the capability of doing a verbatim recording and then going back into open session. So we can just take Veronica will take hand notes of what occurs in the closed session, which will remain confidential. Okay.
So at this time, I'm going to stop the recording on the computer.
Well, let's pass the resolution first, going.
All right, that's right. I'm really losing it today. And it's the,
Yes, number two.
number 2. Okay. When necessary, the Jersey City Employees Retirement System Commission shall adopt Resolution B, which we're going to go into executive session to request, receive attorney-client advice from the Commissioner's attorney, which states, in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-13, be it resolved that the Jersey City Employees Retirement System Commission go into closed session to discuss matters falling within the attorney-client privilege and/or matters in which litigation is pending or anticipated pursuant to NJSA 40:4-12B, parentheses 7. The minutes of such meeting shall remain confidential, excuse me, until after such time as the commission determines that the need of confidentiality no longer exists and the matters discussed can be disclosed and the commission waives the attorney-client privilege. May I have a motion to accept?
Motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Greco. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Skura. All in favor of the motion and the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, at this time, I'm going to stop the recording at 12:18 is on my cell phone, PM.